Okay, so I'm creating this game to learn C++, and this is a tunnel in a pyramid. You need to go to the C++ classes to enter this course, this video course. So you need to enter this disk, and we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so let's begin with C++ classes. What is C++? A programming language primarily designed for applications that are very demanding on performance, energy consumption, or speed. If you are really concerned about reliability, performance, response time, C++ becomes a good choice. So when to use C++? I think for very demanding applications that require high levels of performance, like video games, 3D video games that have very powerful graphics. Also, when dealing with hardware, dealing with robotics, dealing with mathematics or things that need a lot of speed and energy consumption. So, is C++ an object-oriented programming language? His creator, Björn Stroustrup, thinked C++ as a multi-paradigm language. This means it not only relies on classes and object-oriented programming, is much more powerful, also has like things like generic
functional programming. So the C++ borrowed the object-oriented programming concept from the Simula 67 language.
So here we can see that C++ is a multi-paradigm programming language, supports single or mixed approaches using procedural object-oriented programming and mixing in its utilization of generic and even functional programming concepts. So C++ introduction. 2 classes. C++ can provide all types you need for work. For example, if you are a telephonist, you need a dialog buffer. If you are a mathematician, you need a triangle matrix. If you are building a game engine for creating a game or a PR, a custom experience, you need to create a character type. So C++ provides the basic tools and the basic data types, which you can get those data types and create upon those foundations. You can create all the emerging power you need. So C++ is very powerful in memory management. There is an operation that initializes a class, and there's another operation that cleans when finished. It's called constructor, the one that initializes, and destructor. So when the block scope with the ending angle bracket is, and the object was declared inside this scope, all the magic happens. The destructor happens and all the memory is deallocated. So this is the magic, the closing bracket. The closing bracket, all the data members that reside only in this scope will be free of the memory and destroyed with the destructor when this angle bracket, closing angle bracket, is finally read or executed by the program. Constructor. A constructor is a special function that is executed whenever we create a new instance of the class. It is used to set initial values of data members of the class. The declaration of the character and the definition of the character. Constructors. Constructors do not return a value, including void. Destructors are special class functions that are called whenever an object goes out of scope. Just like a constructor, a destructor is called automatically. So this is a destructor, and you can execute some task that will be completed before going out of scope and no longer exist in memory. So here you can put some code to be called just before the instance of the class. This object that is an instance of the class is just before to be completely destroyed of memory.
So let's code. The best way for learning is by doing. So let's begin.
Let's begin this tutorial by creating two files, a class tut for the header files and a class tut.cpp for the C++ code for the main function, and we're going to include the class tut header file. So let's define, we need to include iostream library, and also we're going to include the string library. And for the context, we're going to use the namespace std. So we're going to create a class character, and the first thing we're going to put this character a name. So at the top we're going to define the string name, and let's make a public for the methods. We're going to have a void set name. That's going to be public, and it's going to take as a parameter the string name. Also public is the constructor, and also a string for get the name method. So these are the public, and what else we need? Okay, so let's define first the constructor. So let's define the constructor. So the constructor, we use the character constructor, and we're going to just see out to know that the constructor has been called. And line, and also we're going to set the name as, for example, and let's define the function. So for void character dot set name, we receive a string name in, and we set the name equals to name in here double, and double, then the string that is the method get name. So character get name with no parameters, and we simply return the name. So let's see this in action. So we're going to put int the main method, and we return 0. That means everything's okay. And we're going to create just a character one. So let's compile this code. So G++, the name of the CPP file, and the output -o, and it's going to be called also class tut not out. We compile, and we want to run it. We just run this command. So we initialize the character. So for example, we can use a string to get the character name dot get name, and the name, we're going to get the name, and here we're going to see out name and line. So if we compile again, we run the code, we know that the current name is Gaia, but in the middle we can, for example, we can set the character name equals to Horus. So let's compile and let's run it, and now the name is Horus. So the next thing we're going to do is to create an integer for the type of character. I'm going to call it type C, and for example we're going to create some public variables that are going to be a constant int. For example, for first person I'm going to have 1, and then const for a vehicle it's going to be 2, and the constant integer for third person is going to be 3. So here we're going to declare a void to set the type of C. It's always important to camel case this type in. And a integer as return of get type with no arguments. So here in the bottom we can add these two methods. Okay, set type C is equal to type C in. And here the type to return the type. Okay, so it's important always to add a character because this is a function of the character. Okay, so let's go to the class tut. So for example we can also add an initializer for the type C. Let's put it equal to 1. So for example if we see out a type of character, and let's put here an int with type C equals to character1 dot get type C. And then let's put a new line. So let's compile, and here we see third person is equal to 3. Okay, on line 37 Sorry, this was an int. So let's clear, compile. Set type C. It's clear. Let's compile. It's an integer, sorry. Okay. So let's get the function. The current type is character1. Okay, so we can, for example, here we can type C. We can use the character1 to change the type C. We can use character1 dot set type C to type C. We can use here a character1 dot, for example, third person. That was defined here, third person. So if we compile and run, type of character is 1. Okay, so the thing here is, for example, that in this scope the type C is get here. So we need to get the character before, after we set the type. So if we compile again and we run it, we have character 3. If we set, for example, to vehicle, it's going to be the 2. Character type 2. So finally, let's work with the deconstructor. So we come back to the character class and we're going to define the deconstructor, and it's with a tilde. So it's the same as the constructor, but so to call the deconstructor we simply use the character and the tilde, then the character, and here, for example, we can see out. We here execute the code before deconstructing the object, destroying it. So we're going to see out. I'm going to put deleting and line. So if we come back here the main class is created, the character is initialized, is constructed here, the name is set, all this, and when the scope of this, the code gets here, it's deconstructed just when the return 0. So let's see in action. So let's clear. Let's compile. And let's run the code. So we see that at the end is deleted this instance and all the memory is free in the system. This is the magic of C++.
Okay, so I'm working in this video game that is a course and it will be available in iOS and Android. So you can click in the links to download. The idea is that it's an apocalyptic world, and also inside of it's a pyramid, and inside the tunnel you can have all the courses, and the outside there is only red radiation. So thank you.